Johannesburg have arrived at the Gauteng legislature in Johannesburg, where they're expected to hand over a memorandum. They include residents of Ennerdale, Riverlea and Eldorado Park. The march is part of the so-called Blood Friday, the aim of which is to commemorate those who died in crime and gang-related violence. Westbury mother Heather Peterson is among those who died in gang violence, whose death sparked a series of violent protests in the area last week. Well, let's take you there where they are handing over that memorandum, and our reporter Gillian Pillay is there with them.
Is the solace. It is a clear indication that as the head of government, you do possess the capacity and the capacity to self-correct. And your is indicative of a responsive leader. We appreciate it. The people, particularly the classified colored community, came together today to demand equality, fairness, justice, and accountability. We have received a clear indication that you are willing to those classified colors, that you are willing to respond to those classified colors. And to include us in every sphere of the Gauteng provincial government. And we want you to lead the process of classified colored reintegration and full socio-economic participation. We'll clean up those others there, Premier. You know what we say. Now this is the people's demand. We the people, particularly the classified colors. Now it's important that the people in the province and in the country understand that the way we have framed our demands, Premier, you are a very intelligent man, you can clearly pick up that this is not an exclusive document. I hope you can see that. We are talking about the people, and that is an inclusive, that's an inclusive attribute. But we are saying particularly the people who have been classified as coloreds. We have been left behind since democracy. And this is what we demand from you, in particular in your office. That you respond immediately to the economic exclusion of the classified coloreds. Number two, that you undertake to correct the injustice of the past by immediately instituting full audits of all provincial departments as per your constitutional mandate to hold the departments accountable because they have consciously decided to exclude the classified coloreds. We are not talking about crumbs you fed to some. The demand we demand participatory cooperative governance and sustained relationship between the classified coloreds and the Premier's office. So we are asking you, Premier, not someone down the line, but we want you to locate this right in your office. Because we've been pushed around by everybody. When we go around, they push you all over the place. They send you from pillar to post. We don't want that. We want you as the final accounting officer within the province. We want this to be located in your office. We demand that you provide our community with full audits of how many classified coloreds are working in the entire government departments as per your mandate. We demand that you tell us how much money was spent in former classified colored communities across the province, and which companies got the contracts and tenders, and how many classified colored businesses benefited from the business transaction for the last 10 years. When will you incorporate classified coloreds in your governance processes? In the province and the entire provincial government from the classified coloreds over the last 10 years. Number 8, when will you visit all classified coloreds, Premier, around to see how neglected we are? We demand, number 9, we demand a sustained relationship with GP. We demand, number 10, a public apology for the blatant oppression and marginalization. The people, particularly those classified colours, demand a response in 7 days. If the Gauteng province fails to respond to us or be responsive, the people, especially those classified colours, will punish the provincial government and the entire South African economy. That's what it must say there. You know that in our own haste, you know, we make a couple of mistakes. And this, Premier, we do on behalf of the people of the Gauteng colored community. I thank you very much. So that's thank you.
Thank you. The Secretary of the Legislature has just arrived. And we would like him to sign. There's 2 copies, sir. If you can sign one for us and one for yourself. We thank you.
Let's first do this ceremony. Thank you for joining us today. So where do I sign? Right, just sign there for us. Okay. And then your full name. Yes, absolutely. Please, your full name and surname and your contact number, please, sir.
So when you finish, we want an apology from the Ennerdale. Yeah.
Alles doen, je doet niet alles op ze klagen vraag van apology. Hello.
Sorry, man.
Okay, so then we have visuals. The coloured community of Gauteng have descended on having that signed by the Premier of Gauteng, David Makhura, and other officials. So that's taking place right now. They've just laid out some of their demands verbally for us to hear, and these include their participation in employment in the Gauteng local government. They're making demands about that, and they want audits around that issue. So we're hoping that the Premier is going to respond briefly to this memorandum. So that is basically what we're looking at the moment.
Anthony.
There are a few things that have happened prior to this day. So a couple of weeks ago, one lady, Heather Peterson, was killed in a gang-related shooting. She was part of basically she was caught up in the crossfire. And then the coloured communities, firstly in Westbury, started protesting, and then later on in Riverlea and other areas protested about their conditions, about the drugs in their area, the gangsterism, the high unemployment levels that they're experiencing. They feel that they're excluded from the economy, and they have raised their voices not only to David Makhura today, but also they had an exchange with the police minister Becky Cele, asking for more reinforcements to come into their area so that they're not victims of this constant crime that's going on there. A couple of days ago, they descended on the JSC, saying that the captains of industry need to consider them and include them in the economy of the country because they feel excluded. And of course, today now, as we see David Makhura signing those papers, those memorandums, just to basically say, I've accepted it. We need to see, obviously, what he actions. They've given him an ultimatum saying that they want some sort of response within 7 days. And of course, as I mentioned before, really they're pleading that the Gauteng legislature or the Gauteng government includes them.
Ja, gaan met oppassen, land gaan klimmen. Zo goed, oppassen.
Hey.
Can we give a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? The Premier has just signed the letter, and now I'm going to ask the Premier just to give us a short address. In particular, Premier, I would like you to talk to the youth as well, and if possible, about our summit that we agreed upon. Thank you. Don't go there.
Please, ladies and gentlemen.
Goedemiddag. Goedemiddag. Vandaag ik zie jullie is niet blij vandaag niet. Ik kan het zien. Jullie is bijna kwaad vandaag. Maar ik bedank jullie. Jullie is bijna discipline ook. Jullie is bijna discipline. Firstly, I want to greet all of you, including our chiefs. Our bishops, all the way in the morning. I know I was told that there was a problem about the permission to march. I want to receive the letter.
Thank you.
I said, let's not send the communities away. They are going to feel like they are being rejected again by government. So I also said, let's make sure that the leadership will keep the discipline. The young people will also be disciplined. And they assured me that you will be very, very disciplined. And you got here very, very disciplined. You know, ek is die eerste premier. Ek is die eerste premier in die hele Republiek van South Africa. Who has said there are many problems that we are not dealing with properly in our communities. Now I want to say this to you. Sometimes when you say the colored communities, you are missing the point. Because we know we have First Nation people. Yes. We have amongst you the first inhabitants of our republic. Yes. We have the Nama people, we have the the Griqua people, we have the Korana people, we have the Khoi people, we have the San people, and we know over many years in the history of our country and colonialism, you have been called many, many names. Many, many names. So even when you say colored, sometimes you are missing the point. Yes. You are missing the point that now we're talking. The description of colored is something that came under apartheid. Yes. It was a category of a certain group of our people. And I guess the eerste premier who has said that I have been to your communities and you have said to me, ons was nie wet genoeg. Nou ons is nie swart genoeg. Ek is die eerste premier who had said we have to correct this neglect and underinvestment. So I didn't say it to you because you are marching. I said it in a conference of the ANC. I said it in the communities where I visited. Reger Park, ek was daar by Reger Park. Eldorado Park, ek was daar by Eldorado Park. Ennerdale, ek was daar by Ennerdale. Westbury, ek was daar by Westbury. With Bishop Adams. I said it there in the communities. I have not been everywhere. Tukis, ek was daar by Tukis. Yeah, 2015, ek was daar by Tukis. Ek was daar by Eersteres. Riverlea, I have not come to Riverlea. Eden Park, I've not come to Eden Park yet. Ennerdale, ek was daar by Ennerdale. Noordgesig, ek was daar by Noordgesig. So I've not been to all the communities, but I saw the same thing. I saw the same thing. Young people in our communities, in these communities, are being destroyed by drugs. And the drug lords are feasting on the future of our youth. But if there is nothing, if there are no socio-economic opportunities, there's no sports facilities, the young, they are not enabled to get to higher education and TVET, they will end up in drugs. This we see in many communities where young people are not attended to. It's not only in these communities that are marching today. Where young people are not being attended to, they end up in drugs. And the drug lords are making a big bucks out of that. So now what I want to say to you is the following. A lot of what you have written here, I agree with it, not only today, you know it. A lot of what you have written here today. So you're saying to us, you want to work with us. Ek is baie bly, because I also want to work with you. I think the most important thing is that we must work together to fix this problem. And I also want to work with, I don't want a group of leaders here, we must work with everybody, bring everybody together and work together. So you have said that in 7 days you want a response. Now this is what I want to do. Next week I have a cabinet reporter. The provincial cabinet is called the Executive Council. Next week as a boss beraad. We're sitting together. One of the things I've said is that I've been premier for 4 years. from 2014. So I said to every department, I want an audit of service delivery let me start by saying every community in Gauteng. In every community in Gauteng. So we are doing that. We are sitting for 3 days next week. But I also said to the cabinet, I also want an audit of service delivery and development, specifically in the communities which I've said are neglected and there's underinvestment. Yes. Specifically. So that audit is already underway. So that audit is already underway because I also want to see in the communities that were neglected under apartheid. Because you were neglected under apartheid. In the communities that were neglected from 1994, I want an audit of everything. From Riverlea to Recher Park, even to the other townships, everywhere. I want an audit of that. So in 7 days, all I will do in 7 days is to sit with my cabinet. I also know, I want to say something you have not put here. The chiefs from the first people of South Africa have also been saying to me, Premier, we as the traditional leaders, we also want to talk to you about the House of Traditional Leaders in Gauteng province. I've said to them, Chief Taibos is here, he knows this is my word, I live by my word. I'm also going to be meeting with all the traditional leaders, in particular, including those of the First Nation, the first people of South Africa. So even with that issue, even if it's not here, we are dealing with it. So after next week, today is Friday, it's Vrydag vandag. May Bosberaad will end on Friday. Next week, Friday. What I want to do is to do a number of things. To convene meetings between my cabinet and you will make sure that we are going to sit down together with those that you will mandate to sit down to look at everything that you are saying in your memorandum. So by next week I will be ready. End of Friday I will be ready. I'm coming out of the Lekgotla. And then from there we are going to be rolling out a program. I want to say to you, from 2014 there are very specific things that have been raised that we have been dealing with. But from 1994 there are also communities where certain things were done. But we know the development has not put up with the growth. I know housing is one of the most pressing issues in your communities. Housing development. Again, you sleep with your children in rooms, 10, 15 people in one house. I know that problem. Housing development has not put up with the delivery of housing in many areas in the province. And I want to say to you, on housing, I want you to hear me very well. Luister asseblief. Luister asseblief. On housing, I also want you to know that we are also building new communities in Gauteng, where we don't have people who live here by the color of their skin, but our people live together. I want to say to those who qualify for houses, they must be willing that where we can't build houses in a particular locality because there's no more land and it's no longer possible to build, we must be willing for us to say there's this new development in that area. We want you to be accommodated in that. We have done that with the people of Easteres, and they were saying we are willing because we want to live as South Africans. This thing that there are others who live here and some there. We must build a new country where all of us are South Africans and we are equal in reality, not just in word. That everybody get the basic services, they have access to economic opportunities. All of us equally, we have access to, especially those who under apartheid, they were neglected. All those communities require us to pay attention to them. So we will do that, and then we will convene a meeting to make sure that is representative of every community. After that, I will then come to do, you say here you must come to all the communities. Yes. I will be coming. We will go and do report back now. We will be going to every community. We'll be coming to account to you. We will go to Riverlea and say, in Riverlea, this is what has happened in Riverlea since 1994. I know the people of Riverlea. There's that pipe there. That gas pipe there that's passing there. Very dangerous. Yes, very dangerous. That gas pipe that's passing there. I know that's one thing you have been raising all the time. So the problem of the South, for example, the people of Eldorado Park, right up to Ennerdale, and those other areas, you have also said to me, let me tell you what you have also said to me, that you are tired of people just building informal settlements everywhere where you live. I know that. When you go to the West especially, informal settlement everywhere, all over you, people are building all over you. But I know you have been law-abiding citizens. And I'm very happy to work with you as law-abiding citizens. We can't just respond to you by bringing the police. Yes, we need the police to deal with crime. I'm very happy that the minister has been responding with the MEC, but these issues are not just crime issues, are not just policing issues. We need to deal with the fundamental socio-economic problems of development, because crime and drugs, if we can tackle crime and drugs, but if we don't deal with development opportunities, we don't ensure that young people have access to opportunities, they will always be coming back to crime and drugs. We will not have enough police to solve that, because the job of the police is not to deal with socio-economic development, is to deal with crime. So that's what I want to assure you. So I have your memorandum. End of the week we will have met as the Gauteng Provincial Cabinet. I want to say again that I will continue to echo what I've echoed before. We can't allow this neglect and underinvestment to continue. I'm going to say so, but also match it with interventions to show that we are addressing it. It may take long, this underinvestment, to be changed. It may take long, but we must do something, and we must start now. We can't delay, we can't wait. We can't have more people dying. We can't have gangsters again shooting and killing our children, killing our elders. We can't have that, but we must deal with that together with the economy, together with other social development in these communities. So I commit to you today, I'm going to work with you. I want to work with every community in Gauteng. On Sunday there was another community that came to me, Olivenhout. I sat down with them and I also said to them, I want to work with you. So I want to work with every community in Gauteng to fix and attend to their issues. But let's hold hands and let's work together and fix our country. This is our country. There is nowhere you can go. This is the only country you know. It's your country. It's our country. And let's make this country to work for everybody, not for few. It must work for everybody. And I also understand when you say Genoeg is genoeg. Genoeg is genoeg. Enough is enough. And when you say you are heartful, I understand that. Ek is heartful ook, man. Ek is baie heartful ook. When you march, you must invite me to join you next time. You marching to somebody else next time, please invite me, because we are going to work together to fix this problem. Because this problem is also in municipalities, you know it. Even in municipalities, there's neglect by municipalities. I'm not here to talk for any party, but again, you are also being neglected even in municipalities run by different parties.
What we are saying is, on Tuesday, we are marching to the office of Herman Mashaba. So get yourself ready.
So I want to work, we must fix, I want all the mayors to join hands. I want all the mayors to join hands. They mustn't think, oh, ele match na Makhura, more ele match na the mayor. Because you also feel the pinch there. So help me to get the mayors to also work with me. Baya donkey, baya donkey.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, people, let's have some discipline. On Tuesday we are marching to Herman Mashaba's office.
Okay, so we're coming out of that Blood Friday protest. The members of the coloured community have handed over their memorandum to David Makhura, the Gauteng Premier, and he's accepted it and said he agrees with many of their points in terms of their demands, and says that action has already been taken in terms of audits that are being done by the Gauteng government, and that he will indeed respond within 7 days to their demands. And he's insisted that they all work together, and that a multi-pronged approach needs to be taken, not just on crime but socio-economic issues as well.